Thank you, Archbishop Aquila. As Bill mentioned, my name is Mark Rienzi, and I'm the president of the Becket Fund, and I'm your MC for the evening. And at Becket, we take great pride not only in our winning record in court, but also at the brisk pace of our dinners. So my first job as MC is to tell you, please go ahead and start working on your salads. We have a lot to do tonight, and we want to get you out on time. It has now been 30 years since the Becket Fund was founded by Seamus Hassan as a one-lawyer, one-room shop to defend religious liberty for everyone. And that one-lawyer shop has now become what even the Associated Press calls a powerhouse law firm. One commentator called us God's ACLU. I think that's actually a compliment. My all-time favorite is still Politico calling us God's Rottweilers. I know that one's a compliment. Tonight, we'll spend a little bit of time looking back on the remarkable success of those first 3 decades. But we will mostly look to the future, because the past wins were really just laying the groundwork for the crucial defense of religion and religious liberty that our country needs right now. Back in 1994, when Seamus made the inspired decision to launch Becket, he was not afraid to borrow from other great founders. For example, Becket's strategic approach of changing the law over time was modeled on Thurgood Marshall's work at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. And Becket defends great truths from our nation's founding, chiefly that God created each of us with inalienable rights and dignity, and that we should all be free to seek God and live our lives accordingly, even when we disagree with each other or with the government. And Seamus also stole a page from Ben Franklin, who famously quipped after signing the Declaration of Independence, "We must all hang together, or most assuredly, we shall all hang separately." Because the real magic of Becket is how the strategy is executed. It turns out that standing up for religious liberty is a team sport. You can't do it with just great lawyers, or just brave clients, or just faithful supporters. And you can't do it with just Protestants, or just Catholics, or just Jews, or just Orthodox, or just Latter-day Saints, or just Muslims, or Hindus, or Sikhs. This project only succeeds when we remember that we really are all in it together. Take a look.
The Becket Fund began, as many good things do, with a prayer.
So I went to St. Peter's to pray and found a signed altar and said, basically, "Well, here I am, what do you want?" Well, I didn't have blinding lights and visions or hear voices. I did have the strong sense that a dream in law school was right after all, and that's what I should do.
Seamus Hassan's dream was to start a strategic law firm that would set long-lasting precedents defending a fundamental principle, religious freedom for everyone. But Becket was never going to be just a law firm. Seamus wanted to use the power of that great idea to draw together people of all faiths who would stand up for each other's rights, even when they don't agree.
We must walk shoulder to shoulder on the same path in order to secure our freedom to pursue our separate ways when that is necessary according to our distinctive beliefs.
Every faith is a candle we light in the public domain. A little light drives away much darkness, and no one else's candle diminishes mine. But if we all light our candles together, we can turn a dark world into one full of light.
Over 30 years, what began with a prayer became a movement that changed the course of religious freedom in America. people of different faiths working together to win precedent-setting cases that make all Americans more free. Together, we are winning for our beliefs, our families, and our country's future.
In hindsight, 1994 seems like easy times compared to the mayhem that exists today. I sometimes think that people in 1994 must have looked at Seamus like he was Noah building a boat before the storms came. Like, what's he building that thing for? It doesn't even rain here. Back in 1994, things weren't perfect, but they were pretty good for religious liberty. So good that even the ACLU sometimes got it right. But we're in 2024 now, and we know we are living through some nasty storms. We see the division and emptiness and hatred that engulfs so much of society. And it's precisely in those times that we need the freedom to live, to educate our kids, and to worship God according to our own beliefs. We need the freedom to serve others without having to give up the religious faith that motivates the service. We need the freedom to believe in things other than what the government or social media tell us we ought to think. So thank God Becket got started on this project 30 years ago and not 30 days ago. And as if to drive home Seamus's brilliant insight, it turns out that the precedents we've built up over the years have been built by many different groups contributing to each other's religious liberty. We have built wins for Native Americans based on our win for Christians in Hobby Lobby. When we win for sick soldiers, we rely on past wins for Muslim prisoners and Catholic foster care agencies. When we fight for Orthodox Jewish parents, we rely on cases brought by the Amish, by evangelicals, and others. For all of our clients, we rely on historical wins for Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses. And every single religious group in this country, of every denomination under the sun, and whether they know it or not, relies on Becket's wins for Lutheran and Catholic schools when it comes to their own religious hiring. We really are all in this together. And here, let me say a special word of thanks to our supporters who are not religious believers. They don't have skin in the game in the same way as the religious folks in the room do, because they don't expect to ever be exercising their own religion. But they're here anyway, and they support this cause anyway, because they recognize that religious liberty is central to our society and indispensable to the broader liberty movement. But our opponents do not want religion and religious liberty to flourish. G.K. Chesterton wrote, "Once abolish God, and the government becomes the God." And that is the end game for the other side. It is not that there will be no God. It is that you and I will bow down to the God they tell us to. That is why religion and religious liberty are such a threat to the other side. So whether they are bulldozing your sacred site or trying to control how you can talk to your own children in your own home, the end game is always the same: power. The government will become your God. That's what they want. Well, I know this group is not going to let that happen. The first 30 years have shown us the power of working together for religious liberty. When the federal government told the Supreme Court that religious organizations had no special constitutional protections for their hiring, we won Hosanna Tabor 9-0. When many thought that it was better, when many people thought it was better to just surrender on the issue of religious foster care, we went to the Supreme Court and we won 9-0 in Fulton. Over and over again, we've heard the arguments about the cases we shouldn't take and the arguments we mustn't make. Don't fight back against the COVID lockdowns. Don't take mosque cases or Native American cases. Don't defend cake bakers who are attacked because of their views on marriage. Don't fight for Sikhs to serve in the military or for Jews on campus. We've heard them all. And the truth is, our opponents can't stop us from winning. So instead, they try to convince us to stop ourselves or to stop supporting one another. They try to label religious liberty politically or racially. They'll say it's all about white Christian conservatives. Of course, that's only true if you ignore all the actual cases and actual clients. But they'll keep saying it because they want to make religious liberty just another partisan issue, as if you need to be a Republican or a Democrat to believe in standing up for your neighbor's right to practice her faith. Or they'll try to appeal to your sense of moderation, and they'll ask you to hold back in the name of kindness or being nice. After all, in a world with so much division and conflict, isn't it kinder to just give up on litigation? Wouldn't it be better and nicer to just focus on schools or soup kitchens and forget about the conflicts over religious liberty? Note what they do there. They ask you to stand aside in the name of kindness and moderation so that someone else can be left alone and easily attacked. That doesn't eliminate conflict, it just makes it one-sided. They want you to just be kind and go back to focusing on your own family and your own group while they attack the next person who has an unapproved idea. But it is not kind to let someone else get savaged just because you don't share her religious beliefs. It is not kind to allow public universities to have places where Jews are banned in America in 2024. It is not kind to allow children to be taken away from their parents because of the government's gender ideology. It is not kind to let a sex-obsessed government shut down nursing homes and foster agencies that help the needy. And moderation? I like moderation. I think moderation is great for some things, like dessert, or maybe exercise. I didn't know I'd get applause on that one. That's good. But moderation in defending your neighbor or opposing evil, that's no virtue at all. Stepping aside and tolerating injustice when you know how to defeat it, that's not kindness, it's cowardice. So Becket won't quit. We won't ease up or back off, and we know you won't either. The stakes are too high for any of us to shrink from the task. The biggest challenge our country faces right now is the temptation to retreat to our own corners, to look away and abandon the other guy, to hope the bear eats him before it catches you. Well, this room is a testimony to not looking away. This room is a shining example of not retreating to our own corners, but instead showing unity in a country that sorely needs it. So all I ask of you tonight is that you commit to staying on this winning team in whatever ways you can. Share with each other and with us the courage needed for this moment. And don't let anyone convince you to walk away from the fight for religious liberty. As long as we do that, then together we will win. Thank you all for being here, and please enjoy your dinners.